What are you trying to do?
Yes, folks. We're ready. We're back. This is the third freaking time we've recorded this episode because I lost the first one and it would have been terrible because Greg's microphone doesn't work. And then Greg's microphone didn't work still, which you've probably heard in the background, the giant fan that I try to get rid of every episode and it doesn't work.
Oh, but I fixed it. Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, different computer, different setup, different microphone, different everything.
Well, yeah, it's
all
I don't.
improved.
Hopefully, we won't hear it, and that's good. And because we are recording the second half of the Muhammad Ali book for the third time.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it the first time.
I liked it this time. Wait, that time, the time before
The
that.
time
I like
before
it
that.
every time.
So
It's the world's greatest book.
We should be back on track in the next few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Greg is going to Rose City Comic Con.
This is
on date. Greg says date.
7th.
Thanks, Greg. On September 7th. Thank you for that
7th.
informative description of what you're doing.
You're welcome. I will be there with Michael Tanner. We'll be doing unnecessary debates.
I'm really good at debates, you know.
You are, and you've been also a panelist on unnecessary debates. You were not part of the panel description for this round of debates, and it was already determined. We didn't even know we were going to be.
It's because Michael Tanner fears me.
He does fear you. He's scared of you. He said, "Oh no, not the Dan."
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, it's not that he's scared of me. He just doesn't want to deal with me for a day.
He's like, I don't know if I could do this.
He didn't quite sigh quite right.
That's the Eeyore sigh.
You gotta go. Oh, bother. Gotta argue with a Republican. Oh, bother. I'm not a Republican. That's not who I was referring to. Sorry, Republicans that listen. If you didn't know, I'm probably not voting for your guy.
Yeah.
Oh, bother. Dan's gonna talk all day.
Mike has it's kind of funny. Ann and I have decided that, and Mike's not going to ever probably listen to this podcast, so it doesn't matter.
Bother! I'd have to listen to the podcast where Dan talks. That would be the end of the world.
But Mike comes across sometimes as a dad of like 7 kids, and he's just tired, but he has no children, so it's just funny because it's like. I don't know where he loses his energy.
Oh, bother. Well, you know, if you know Greg's co-author, we do love him. I know we're teasing right now. I'm mostly just bitter because I don't get to go to Portland.
You're mad because when you left for bigger and better colleges, I met Mike Tanner.
No, I'm not mad about that. I wasn't really. No, like listeners. I am upset because I told a friend of mine who is not part of the podcast world and I haven't asked for permission to be part of it. So he probably will be on a future podcast, actually, but
he should be.
Yeah, he should be, but we won't say names yet because I need to ask permission. But I said, oh, we need to go to Rose City Comic Con because our friends Travis and Brett will be there. And Travis misses everyone, and Brett misses everyone. And Greg's going to tell me, I can't go. I have to work at the store. And then I see a message 2 days later. Hey, I'm on a panel at Rose City Comic Con. And we are happy for Greg. In fact, we're very happy. I'm very happy Greg gets to go. You too can go meet Greg. Now, if you go see Greg, he won't have any cool things like Funny Book Forensic swag or anything.
I might have stickers with me.
Oh, you might. You'd have to come get them from me.
I have stickers.
Oh,
at the
you
store.
took the
I'll
stickers.
Just steal them. I'll steal them from the store and bring them to.
So you can go to find Greg, but he's not going to be at a table again. So you'll have to go to the panel.
You'll have to go to the panel, and you'll have to find me. I'll be wearing a cool shirt. It'll be bright and it'll be fun. I'll wear my Funny Book Forensics hat.
Now, it won't be like when we went to a show when you just randomly appear out of a beer garden.
That's true. It won't be like that. but maybe I'll be eating a carrot hot dog.
Gross. That's disgusting. Why would you?
Yeah, you know those hot dogs that are not hot dogs, but they're carrots. You know, they have those in Portland because it's like, you know, that's what they eat down there. They
Yeah,
don't eat real
that's
hot dogs,
gross. That's disgusting.
Just okay.
Like, you should just throw that away. Like, if somebody offers you a sample, do the Ron Swanson and just throw the sample away.
That's how I got the free one last time. There was like 10 of them in the garbage can, so I just got a bunch.
And that's typical. Well. Wow.
I'm a giant raccoon. I don't know.
Well, the good news is, if we hadn't recorded this podcast for the third time, you would have known that Greg was going to Rose City Comic Con, because we didn't know.
I didn't know until yesterday, so.
You don't know when yesterday is. That could have been today.
That's true.
Or the future.
Exactly. It was
when
today.
this podcast drops, that could be not yesterday.
2 weeks from now.
It's not going to be 2 weeks from now. But it's going to be at least 3 days from now. At least.
Okay. At least 3 days from now.
But, because, yeah, we're sorry about the delays this summer. We were back on track. We actually recorded 4, including this podcast, twice. Had them ready to go. The issues with Greg's microphone, I don't know what's happening, but it just got worse. The fan, he has an awesome older computer, but it just heats because it's overpowered, and the fan went off. And I have been dealing with it for the past couple months, but you know, if you listen, you could hear it in the background. So we just need to upgrade the audio quality a little bit. So Greg was nice enough to reconfigure his entire office to get to this computer, and you wouldn't believe what I see behind him. Like, I think he has. It's typical. The one good thing I can say about Greg's office right now is, if we were on video, you would know why he doesn't exercise, because his exercise mat is on top of other things. So it would be exercise to get to the exercise mat.
The yoga mats are on top of the stuff, because when I do stuff in this office, actually, that's like, you know, for when I pull out the chair and then I do my stuff or my stretches and stuff like that, everything's pulled out of here. And I have the room and everything like that, but actually I have a nice space downstairs to do that.
Oh, really? So why are they up here?
Yes.
And how would Muhammad Ali feel about that?
He would love the space downstairs because it's got a nice cutout of him downstairs for me to exercise with. But the space up here, and for full transparency, maybe I might have the yoga mats over here because Greg has a snoring problem, and his wife is like, please go sleep in your office the other night. So
you could solve all of those things
by sleeping in
using
the
the exercise maps. Or exercise mats. That's not what I was getting. Well, anyway, we're again the second half of All New Collector's Edition, Volume 7, number C56.
C56, yes.
1978.
It is what is this? A Walton's
It's a Treasury
version?
Edition.
No, Walton. I said a Whitman version. A chocolate.
Would you stop?
Straight out of a box of chocolates. The Whitman's chocolates.
You know,
sampler,
I took
delicious.
great joy on finding Whitman covers when we would go comic book hunting, and I will never have that joy again.
Because I've ruined it for you. I'm so sorry.
You've just straight up, you just Greg, destroyer of joy. I mean, that's where we're at right now.
I am the destroyer. Not as much as project-nerd.com is a destroyer of joy. They're not the destroyer of joy. They they bring us what are they bringing us this week?
If you want to lose all the joy in your life, you can go to project-nerd.com. The group that helps distribute us, and because they help distribute us, that means they distribute Greg's joy-killing heart, and thus, you too can have your joy destroyed by going to project-nerd.com. In fact, we encourage you to go there. Take the people. Basically, what we're asking you to do right now.
Wow, we know. I was going to say.
We know. Hang on. We know that we have a select segment of our audience that likes to take my joy away by recommending really bad comics to read.
Right.
And we know you some of our listeners really love destroying joy. So we want you to go over to project-nerd.com, and since they destroy joy, you can recommend people to their site, project-nerd.com, or Project Nerd on Facebook and Instagram.
No. Yeah.
Yes, those things. And you can help destroy their joy too. So just keep it as an extension of what you do now. All you have to do is just recommend your friends. Do what you do to me, and we'll get a whole bunch of people on project-nerd.com.
Here, I was gonna say, if you feel like your joy is being destroyed, go there and get it renewed.
No.
And you're saying it gets
Send
destroyed.
people there just like you do to me. Destroy their joy. Give them things that they don't want.
See, I think they're gonna enjoy what they find there. Great memes, good news, great articles, other things that revolve around pop culture and fun stuff. But if that doesn't bring you joy, I guess go and Marie Kondo the whole thing.
Well, I mean, no, I don't want to Marie Kondo anything. She would make me get rid of all of my comics.
I know.
That would take my joy again. Yes, they spark joy.
Okay.
Unless I'm carrying them downstairs, then they don't spark any joy.
I know, and you've moved them so many times.
You know what, Greg? This is not about my comic book addiction.
I know, it's not. It's not. So please keep sending Dan comic books and keep feeding his comic book addiction.
No one sends me comic books.
People find fun stuff for you to read all the time. And we want you to keep sending him great things, so keep telling us the things that he should read.
Wow. Well, we're going to be on a good ride here, because we're going to finish this Muhammad Ali versus Superman book, and then because of Jason
Privet,
we're going to cover Hitman.
Oh, yeah. Hitman.
Yep, by Tom King.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. I've already read, and we've already recorded and have to re-record 2 episodes probably, but I've already read 8 issues of it, and there's 13, because there's that interlude in the middle.
I better read it again. I forgot it all.
I don't think you forgot it all, because it is so good. So, Jason, thank you for saving my life and giving me some joy. So I guess our listeners can bring joy. And you know what? Jimmy Olsen can also bring joy, because we're starting on page 31. I can't remember if we were on page 31 or 33 when we left off last time. But you know what? We're going to start right here, because the page is titled Preliminary. And we had the whole setup last time for the Muhammad Ali Superman fight. So we had a whole setup where aliens were trying to invade the Earth. Superman, they were looking for Earth's best fighter. Muhammad Ali, of course, said he was. Superman said he was, so they were going to make them fight. Muhammad Ali trained Superman how to fight in the Fortress of Solitude. It's all going great. But then the aliens figure out that they've done a trick, and Rat, it's not, I don't even know. At this point, I don't even know punctuation anymore. Apostrophe rat apostrophe lar, and
maybe it's like pronounced ret lar.
Yeah, well, I think it's rat. He's a jerk.
Maybe he's like a labar.
Yeah, he runs the Bodacians.
They're bodacious.
Yes. Well, that was the title of the last episode.
Bodacians.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Muhammad Ali is bodacious, and we also meet Hun-Ya, their greatest fighter. And
he's so big.
He is so big, and it's great because Muhammad Ali just sort of no-sells him. But anyway, now we're to the fight of the century, the fight of the galaxy, and somehow,
it's like Happy Honda days.
Yeah, we get all these different interterrestrial species.
They're extra interterrestrials.
Yeah, watching. So they're all getting ready to watch. And for some reason, and this is the crazy thing, the best announcer they could find in the entire universe to announce the fights is Jimmy Olsen.
I mean, I think he's a solid choice.
Against who? Like a Rock?
I mean, you can't smell what he's cooking because I don't know if he can cook or not. But I feel like for the book, Jimmy Olsen is a good choice.
Wait, has he announced before? Have you seen him announcing events before?
I feel like he's the kind of guy that like he would do karaoke, and he would like talk himself up in the mirror and do like a whole entire talk up session. And he would do an announcer type thing to himself, for himself, as he's getting ready, and do a play-by-play and everything like that. Just doing the whole thing. And this is his time to shine, Dan.
I like it better
excited.
when he takes that serum and becomes Elastic Lad.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Olsen's been a lot of different things.
And why can't he be an announcer?
I mean, he could, but it's not one of his superpowers or the faces of Jimmy Olsen. I mean,
it's true. I mean, he was in a band.
Yeah, well, there was a great Jimmy Olsen miniseries, too, that was done by some famous author that we just referenced, so...
I have a couple of those books in my box.
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen series.
Well, anyway... It was good. Anyway, we're never going to get this book if I just keep talking about Jimmy Olsen.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. And you could talk about Jimmy Olsen all day long. Even the fact that there's a new Jimmy Olsen on the horizon.
Yeah.
How fitting.
Yeah, well, we did see that. If we wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, let's say we recorded an episode after this one that might, or before this one that might play after this one, and we may have talked about said Superman movie in said future episode, possibly, but I can't confirm that we've done that.
No, but
so it could happen.
They'll never know.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, it's all good.
Jimmy Olsen, best announcer in the intergalactic area.
Yeah, my bad. Matt Fraction wrote that Jimmy Olsen series.
Ah,
it's really good.
He's in Portland. You should go to Portland, Dan. You go tell him yourself.
Matt Fraction is a gigantic Legion of Superheroes fan too.
Ah,
you didn't know, did you?
I did not know.
He wrote the foreword for the essays on the Legion of Superheroes book called Teenagers of the Future.
Oh.
I've said that on the podcast before. But with most Legion things, you just kind of like, it just zones out. Even when we did like 8 Legion books in a row.
There's so much to know and so much to soak in. I'm not a young sponge person anymore. I can't keep everything in. My brain only holds so much information. I need to remember the 2 phone numbers I need to keep, and my bank PIN card, my PIN card, and maybe a oh crap, what is that number? The special one.
Well, anyway, Muhammad Ali and Superman come to the ring. Yeah. Muhammad Ali and Superman are coming to the ring. Maybe we should remember to do this book. And Superman's accompanied by O.J. White of the United States Olympic team and Perry White, who apparently was a Golden Gloves boxing finalist. Once again, I think that Superman probably should be looking for better corner people than his boss. Because you always want to let your boss win, right?
Right.
I mean, it's or you're me and you try to defeat the boss, and that doesn't go very well. So you want the boss to win, right? You're playing racquetball with the boss wins, right? Because then it helps your career, right?
Right.
Unless you're like me and then you crush the boss in racquetball, that doesn't go well.
And they're like all angry and stuff.
Yeah, though my boss probably could crush me in racquetball because I don't have any knees, but that's cool. Well, anyway, Muhammad Ali comes in with legendary boxing trainer Angelo Dundee, who looked old here and looked even older when we were watching boxing. His manager Herbert Muhammad,
yeah,
and his corner man Bundini Brown, who won't play a role in this book at all after this page.
Yeah, No, it's just basically the one pager.
Yeah. The rest of these people, they probably won't play any extra parts for the most part. So anyway, they all get into the ring, and the robot ref comes in, screeing away. He says scree, as he gives the instructions. I'm not sure, is scree part of his language, or that just the creaks he makes?
It could be the creaks he makes, like my chair.
Your chair sucks. This is not... yeah, would you stop doing it on purpose?
I had to move. I didn't do it on purpose. I mean, I do it on purpose.
You don't have to move.
I do have to move. My body is old and it hurts.
No, your body, that's your perception that your body is old. You've made your body old. You can make it young again. Anyway.
To make it young again. If I went to certified jiu-jitsu...
Well, that would help. If you went to certified martial arts with jiu-jitsu lawyer Paul Boudreau on 27th and Bridgeport Way in University Place / Tacoma, Washington, if you chose to do that, he would. I mean, in fact, 3 days a week, you could come train with me at 3 o'clock. Any of you want to come train with me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at Certified Martial Arts, feel free. You can meet me. You get some good training in. Meet Paul. And you might get hooked. You never know. You would definitely fight better than Superman did in this book.
Oh, yeah. And we're getting there.
Well,
the bell is ringing.
Hanging. Yeah, and basically, Muhammad Ali sort of like pretends like Superman can fight for a while. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and Jimmy Olsen's like, as the bell ends on round one, this announcer must make an observation. He is a terrible announcer, by the way. You would never say, as an announcer, as the bell ends, round one, this announcer must make... Why is he referring to himself in the third person weirdly as an announcer? I don't understand. Like, he would just say, as the bell ends... Yeah. I would never, when announcing, would have said... And this as at the end of the third inning, as this announcer has observed, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Yes, I watch a lot of Mariners games, so that does happen a lot. And yeah, it's so awkward. Anyway,
do you know why he says it like that? Because it was in the script.
Well, it's not surprising that. I don't know. Anyway, it's not surprising to me that comic book writers and artists don't know sports enough to write an announcer properly.
True.
Oh, okay. So I just dropped the mic for everyone, but you can't see us, so it didn't matter. Anyway, in the next 2 pages, Superman gets destroyed by Muhammad Ali so much that we have Lois Lane looking like she did when he got hit by another big character named Doomsday.
Yeah, he is pummeled.
In fact, they say, oh my God, Jimmy, they've got to stop the fight. Superman's going to be killed. I don't like that at all either.
Rattler looks like very excited by this.
Well, Rattler is unnecessarily excited by a lot of things.
Yeah. It's pretty... He's gross. He's gross, Dan. He's gross.
Well, anyway... Superman's down. They carry him out of the ring on a stretcher. He looks pretty beat up. And he's wearing Everlast gloves because Everlast gloves, the boxing gloves of the entire universe.
Yeah. They're the best.
I guess. So, they're the best around?
Yeah. They put up a good fight.
Well, anyway, Rattler comes in shooting people and running up to Jimmy Olsen. He says, you, Olsen, what's going on here? Where is this lowlife loser? What hole has he crawled into? And he's like, Superman? And he's like, Muhammad Ali is taking care of him. What? Now I just kind of imagine Rattler as like Kyle's mom.
From South Park.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay, I can hear that.
What? Don't lock me in the closet. What? Didn't they lock her in a pantry once? I think it was a pantry.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they did. You haven't seen those episodes, I don't think. Yeah. Anyway. the Troll Trace episodes. But
No, I haven't seen that.
oh my god. Okay. Anyway, not getting distracted. So, anyway, we get another lineup, and this lineup too is even more Doomsday like. They're all looking on, and it's like Jimmy Olsen, and now hope is all that is alive for a man who almost like a father. What? Okay. And then Lois Lane with a tear, almost that total man who might make a total woman feel complete. By the way, I do love that line because this is I like. I mean, Denny O'Neil, Neal Adams, not shocking, but they understand the Lois Lane character, so good. Lois Lane was always, to me, the reason she went after Superman is because she could do everything else. She didn't need to marry or have a man or anything in her life. And even in the movie, they imply she controls men, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we had to go that far of go get my orange juice and my, my cheeseburger. But I always have loved the fact when Lois Lane is written like as a character who just doesn't need anyone until she finds that one. And it happens to be Superman in this case. Yeah. I mean, the whole total woman feel complete. Okay. I mean, that's 70s writing, but I still love the whole notion of that character. Then we get to Perry, almost the greatest hero in the eyes of a man who's met all the great ones. Muhammad Ali's thinking almost the one man no one would mind losing to. I don't think that Muhammad Ali wanted to lose to anyone. And then Rattler, and almost the one man who could save Earth and possibly the universe from tyranny. Oh. And they launch Superman into space, away, and he's gone.
He's gone.
And we get to the main event. That's kind of crappy to make Muhammad Ali fight in the same night again.
Yeah, a double bill.
Oh, 20 hours have passed, so he's got to fight the next day. But that's still tight. I mean, that's pretty tight for boxing.
Yeah.
And they make him weigh in again, too. Like, I mean, he just weighed in, like, yesterday. Or is that Hun-Ya?
I think it's just Hun-Ya.
Okay, well, Hun-Ya broke the scale, so...
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing for outer space. They, have one of those scales that nobody uses that sits in the corner of the gym. Mm-hmm. The slidey scales. Yeah. Hun-Ya steps on it and breaks it. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of the weigh-in is. And we've got Rattler Mojo. Rattler.
Mojo. Yeah.
X-Men Mojo. Yeah. He's not kind of... Rattler does not have the girth that Mojo does.
But he has the attitude.
He does have the attitude. He's got to put on his television show for the entire universe, right? Mm-hmm. He does kind of have the attitude. And as we're getting ready for the fight again, we see all of these
ratings. He doesn't really care about the Earth. He just cares about his ratings. He just wants his ratings really good. Oh my gosh!
They're kind of the same character.
Commercials.
Yeah, they're kind of the same character. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you get it now. It took you a minute. Anyway, we get a bunch of other species looking on, and they're just hanging out. And we get a nice little 8-panel grid of people looking terrified, and Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen is such a cornball. Meanwhile, folks, back here at the ranch, seriously, Jimmy.
Yeah. Jimmy. It's like a tee up for a terrible joke.
Yeah, well, no, I think the best, he goes, what the? And then it's like, Lois Lane, speaking our announcer, Jimmy Olsen, seems to be at a loss for words. As well he might be. What we are witnessing is something totally unexpected by anyone. A strange, ethereal, though definitely feminine form is slowly descending to the center of the ring. She is surrounded by some sort of diffused glow. Oh. And Perry White ruins it by going, Great Caesar's ghost. I mean, it is his line.
It is.
It is his line. Oh my gosh. When did Mojo first appear, by the way?
I don't know. When did Mojo first appear? Was it after this book?
1985, so 7 years later.
Oh, okay.
Ann Nesenti created, and Arthur Adams created Mojo. There's a pair right there. He first appeared in Long Shot number 3, that well-remembered miniseries. Mm-hmm. You have in your collection, don't you?
No.
Maybe somebody will make us read that someday. I mean, he did have that little star that glowed every time his little luck power worked. That's his starry eye, right?
Starry eye.
Well, anyway, basically she says this will be a fair contest, or you're in big trouble.
Big trouble.
And then Muhammad Ali's taunting, and she's like, nope, the use of psychology in warfare is totally fair. It's a universally accepted tactic. That's right, psychological operations. Make the enemy, help the enemy know and make them fear. Bombard them with weapons until they're afraid. It's a good, very ethical practice that we should all employ in the war.
Okay.
I mean, she's very fair. She's the Greek goddess of wisdom, after all. It's Athena, but they call her Pallas Athene because we can't have Athena probably because she's in Wonder Woman. So we have to like tie it up a little bit. I'm sure the Wonder Woman editorial office was freaking out if we did this. Anyway, Muhammad Ali keeps taunting, and he makes Rattler really mad, and he says, "Predict, arrogant buffoon. And should you be wrong, my armada will reduce your world to a smoldering rock." He's very mad at Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali just goes off in his way. Okay, alien, you want a prediction? You got one. He'll hit the floor in 4. He'll hit the floor in 4. And furthermore, I got to quit doing Muhammad Ali, even trying. Anyway, he goes on one of his Muhammad Ali, like, little poems that he would always tell Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
And then he said, after this fight, they're going to say, Ali is terrible. I hope not. And then finally, after 4 pages of dialogue.
It's a long dialogue spread.
It's a nice promo.
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to whip him and spank him. I'm the greatest. I'm the king. So there we go. And Hun-Ya's just glaring at him. Hun-Ya's getting a little bit up in his personal space there.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Oh, hey, look. We see a guy beating people up that looks a lot like...
Is that Mr.
that guy
Brown?
that was cornering? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. You know how you know it's Mr. Brown? Because he's wearing a brown jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very good. The color, good job on colors there. Well, Ali goes out for round 1, and Hun-Ya is just taking it to him. He's just going. Jimmy is at a loss for words again. But then he says he's staggered, he's hurt, and Hun-Ya is boring in. Yeah, Hun-Ya is boring. Ali is covering himself, absorbing an awful pounding. Whoa. Interesting choice of words there. This is a famous rope-a-dope technique Ali usually uses. Well, there we go. He's rope-a-doping. But he says Ali's knees seem... and ding, saved by the bell. Rattler's very confident. Rattler is very confident. The Earthman will not survive these. He even has the same like little controls in his bubble and everything.
He's holding it in his hand, fidgety. Yeah. Well,
anyway, Mr. Brown is beating up all the guards, and he's headed to take over the Star Cruiser. Presumably, I don't know. Is he wanting? Oh, wait! It's not a Bundini Brown at all.
Oh, it's not Bundini Brown. What the?
You know
heck?
what?
Oh my!
We've been reading Hitman for future episodes. I bet Hitman came into space and disguised him. And we said Hitman. We're reading The Human Target. Why do I keep saying it's Hitman?
That's why I was like, what? I mean, yeah.
We're not reading Hitman. We're reading Human Target. Hitman.
Christopher Chance dressed up Superman to be Bundini Brown.
Well, Christopher Chance is going to come and beat me up for calling him the terrible character from the 90s DC Universe Hitman. And I shouldn't say terrible character. Hitman was really the only character to come out of one of those crisis-type events. Was that zero? No, it wasn't 0
He
hour.
was really good at hitting people.
I mean, he shot people. He was a hitman. But this is human
I thought
target. It's
he-
quite the opposite. No, the hitman is the guy that shot the human target's dad, not that hitman to become the human target. And the human target's very different. He doesn't shoot people. He gets shot by people.
It's a party trick.
Yeah, I had it quite confused. I mean, you can just ignore most of what I say anyway. But we've been reading the human target, and yeah. Well, anyway. We get a subspace communication by pass link up code number. So apparently, man, Superman is pretty smart with all this flying stuff. He still looks like he got pretty beat up though. He's looking pretty injured.
Yeah, he's looking pretty messed up.
But I think that drop kick he does on page 51 is pretty epic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so he must be got some of his powers back. Maybe he got a little bit closer to Earth and got a little yellow sun recharge.
Got some juice. I mean, got some sun.
Well, anyway, he's forcing his way back. He's returning to Bodace, home of Bodacity, at warp speed. Warp speed. Somebody's been watching some Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anyway, Superman's now on his way back, and he's kind of dumb. He jumps like he's going to fly and lands on a light bridge. How convenient. And
lucky.
Anyway, he said he gets to the pilot, and he says, as Luthor once said, this is going to be like taking candy from a baby. Why is Superman quoting Lex Luthor?
Right? And he kisses his fist as he's about to whack that dude.
Kinda, yeah. Well, we're back to we still, even with the Neal Adams and Neal Adams and Denny O'Neil dialogue here, we still have the beautiful Neal Adams and Dick Giordano art, and which we're not really talking about much, but man, it's good. Like
it is.
You just think as a kid getting these big tabloid pages, and it's just Neal Adams art everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's Muhammad Ali is getting beat up by Hun-Ya, and Emperor Ratlar is coming in for the kill here. He's going above the ring, and he says the magic word that really angers Muhammad Ali for some reason. I don't know if we've had some sort of historical thing in the United States, but Ratlar says, if your governments agree to deed the peoples of Earth to us as our slaves, we will spare them. And Muhammad Ali's like, slaves? He's like, there's another choice, sucker. I can whoop him. And yeah, once the whole S word comes, it's on. And Muhammad Ali takes down Hun-Ya in a matter of a round here. And it's not pretty for Hun-Ya, but that whole time that he's beating up Hun-Ya, we get a 6-page spread on him telling the carriers to invade Earth anyway, because he's so confident of his victory. And the Man of Steel, Superman, in a great pose on page 58, especially that classic Superman pose, flying through space. And he beats up all the spaceships. He claps. He knocks out their force shields. He turns into a battering ram. He kills millions of Bodacians.
No, they got their helmets on. They're fine, Dan. They're fine. They just like fly out into space, and he's gonna go collect them all and have hot cocoa later.
Yeah, I mean, they fly out into space just like the astronauts that got brought up by the Boeing spaceship are gonna experience.
They're gonna stay there until they can get taken back by another spaceship
from another company.
That's what the news says.
Wow, the news knows a lot.
I just listen to the news.
What if they had Superman up there?
Superman could bring him back.
Yeah, but he's not there, so they're
He's
stuck.
Not there, so they're stuck.
So if he rammed through their thing, they would fly out into space, and they'd be perfectly okay, according to you.
I will say, well, I mean, if they got their little helmets on and everything else, and their life support systems on, they've got a good chance. So says the science.
Says the science. So says the science of spaceships.
I mean, for a while, not forever, for a while, until they get rescued by Superman or somebody else.
I see.
I will say,
they would just be floating
before Butch went into space, the day before he went into space, he did say that he was so excited to go back up into space, to go on the ISS again, and he couldn't wait, and he wished that he could go and stay in space for a long, long time because he really liked space. Well, he got his wish because, boy, oh boy, I know he was only expecting to be up there for a week, but he got to stay up there for a long, long time. A lot longer than he was expecting.
Yeah, so it's like Rocket Man.
Yes, much like Rocket Man.
Living up here alone, except he does have a friend.
Yeah, he has a friend until
and he thinks it's going to be a long, long time.
A long, long time.
A long, long time.
A long, long time.
Or can you do the like Shatner version? Nope,
no,
you can't. Can you do the Stewie Griffin version of Shatner version? Nope,
no.
You can't. So you're just ruining everything today. So
I'm sorry, Dan.
Anyway.
Long time.
We get back to the fight, and Muhammad Ali knocks Hun-Ya through the ropes.
Oh
it's
my gosh.
Awesome. And he's beating him, and Jimmy Olsen says the windup and the pitch, a knockout punch. Sometimes the announcer should just let the fight happen in front of them. But he's very excited when it happens. And Jimmy got to announce his first intergalactic boxing match, so I get it. And Hun-Ya's done.
Hun-Ya's
Crowd
done ya.
goes wild. Hun-Ya's done ya. Crowd goes wild. Rattler's very upset. Do you think Rattler needs a better tailor?
Yeah, I mean the overall or the coverall,
the
with the
jumpsuit,
cutoffs, the jumpsuit with the cutoff sleeves and the pockets and the top and everything,
and
like that.
The sash.
It's cool, but it could be better.
He looks like a prisoner.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to have more flair, more style. He needs to have some chains or something, or maybe.
Well, he starts going off. You all heard me. This changes nothing. Fight was won by trickery. A few short moments of warmongering Earth will be but a bad memory. And everybody's like, that dude's crazy. He's mad. What's going on with him? I don't know. He's a crazy man. What's going on?
Yeah.
And Superman comes back. He's back.
Oh,
he's gonna make everything all better. He's disabled their entire fleet by not killing them. Oh, here's where he really kills them. Page 66, where he just puts a hole in every single spaceship. But they'll be fine, Greg. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they got their little space helmets on, their little suits and everything like that. They'll fly out into space, and Superman will collect them. Fakoko by the fire. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And again, another awesome Superman shot though, like with the spread arms, like flexing. Like, I do like me some Neal Adams Superman poses.
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
In fact, they even say
What?
to prove you wrong. Like a superhuman torpedo, the Man of Tomorrow plunges his body through the engine rooms of the lined-up battleships. By all the laws of nature, sound cannot be heard in space, yet this time, this one scream of agony and determination welling up from the depths of being who will not lose his adopted home, even though he die, that must be wrong, is heard throughout the galaxy.
Oh.
Should probably even though he will die, he might die. Anyway, bad on editors. Yeah, who was the editor of this thing again? Yeah, and it's
man, somebody missed those red lines.
Legion of Superheroes' greatest enemy, DC editorial. No, we're not talking about the Legion today.
No, but I will tell you, I hate red lines like everybody else. But boy, oh boy, I'll stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning doing them if I have to.
Julius Schwartz edited this one, so you missed it.
Just to not miss one of those things in any of the books that I'm either writing or editing or just working on.
Well, anyway, we get here. You're having Greg's having his greatest nightmare right now, missing like something super basic in one of his books.
Even if it happens to be one of John's books, I will try my best to make sure.
John who?
John Horsley.
Oh, who does what book?
All of his poop and fart jokes.
John Lee Nonley, yeah. So
John Lee Nonley, yes.
Well, anyway, back to this book. So, pivot.
Yes.
Pivot. Okay, so we're back. We will get through this book
Even
today,
though
folks.
he died. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I had to read it.
Yeah,
Really.
even though he died. He died.
Even though he died.
Even though he dead. He dead, boys. He dead.
He did.
He spent, anyway, he says, incredible battle. Yes, an incredible battle. This is Rattler, but a battle done. Won, but not won. And Earth's most devious weapon, Superman, is spent, as good as dead. And he's like, never again will Earth pose a threat. Aha. Except Hun-Ya will throw a threat. Hun-Ya turns around with his giant boxing gloves, punches the Rattler's bubble. And
he burst his bubble.
yeah, he destroys, glass shatters everywhere. And he's like, Hun-Ya, what is the meaning of this? Guards, get him. And the guards just look at him like he's a little tiny jumpsuited moron. Mm-hmm. And Hun-Ya is now all of a sudden in charge. So this is how it works on their planet. Because remember, it's the boxing. Whoever wins the boxing match wins everything. Right. So I guess Rattler wasn't too smart because he's the leader.
Yeah. He set them up for this big... He gambled big and he lost big too.
And the ghostly form, sensing a shift in the Force, fades away. In the Force.
In the Force.
1978, huh? Yeah. Okay, well...
I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
What came out before that? Anyway, several hours in deep space. They rescue Superman. Hun-Ya takes care of everything. Hun-Ya is a really nice man. Yeah. He's now got the big purpley stuff all over him because he's in charge. And Hun-Ya is going to appear millions of more times in Superman comics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They do that whole entire mashup, or not mashup, but they do the team up where Hun-Ya and Superman team up and they take on bad guys intergalactically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you think this is a partnership that's going to last forever.
It is. Right?
I would think so. It seems like a pretty important one.
Yeah, and Hun-Ya becomes one of the lanterns. He gets a ring. They bring him into the fold. Superman and Hun-Ya hang out. John's and Hun-Ya, they end up
You mean John's?
Yes, John's and Hun-Ya. They hang out and they're eating their cookies together.
What kind of cookies would those be?
Oh, just those Chacos.
Yeah, it's a good time. Well, I see a ton of appearances of Hun-Ya. Tons happening. Yeah, after this, Hun-Ya is going to appear all the time.
Gets his own movie?
Yeah. That's it. He appeared in all new collector's edition C56. Superman versus Muhammad Ali Deluxe Edition, and Superman versus Muhammad Ali a Facsimile Edition.
I say,
yep.
We write a letter and we say we want to get this character back into the fold.
I say a good historian would bring him. I wonder if Neal Adams owns the character somehow.
Oh, maybe. Created the character for the book and then...
Or if Muhammad Ali's estate owns the character.
Could be.
Because they had to get approval, remember we found out last podcast, to get the book. So Nation of Islam had to approve it. So I wonder if Hun-Ya could be an owned character. That could be why we've never seen Hun-Ya again.
Yeah.
Or you have to get approval. Well, anyway, everything ends wonderful. Lois Lane says, that's what did it. Fair play. Fair play saved the Earth. Oh, my God. Oh. Okay. This book was going so well until we got to this part. There's no Mr. Terrific. How can you have fair play without Mr. Terrific?
Well, there you go, Hun-Ya.
Okay,
that's fair. He's pretty terrific.
Well, they send everybody home, and we get days later the verdict. Superman and Muhammad Ali have a nice long conversation about who's the best, and they summarize the entire event. And Muhammad Ali this is why he's not part of the mainline universe, reveals that he knows Superman is Clark Kent.
What? How?
Well, he figured it out back at the playground.
He's too smart for his own good.
Yeah. And then they greet, and we got an awesome picture of Muhammad Ali and Superman, and Muhammad Ali says, Superman, we are the greatest.
Oh my gosh. They are
and
the
we
greatest.
Get the back cover with Henry Winkler, not Henry Winkler, and we are good. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a fun book.
It is a fun book. It's a good it's a good read.
I was poking fun at some things in the book, but it's a fun read. Like, as far as a Bronze Age book goes, nice big tabloid book. I would love to have this book in my collection, which I don't. And it's one I miss. And it's a great, awesome book.
I'll find you a Whitman version.
Sigh.
You're like, I mean,
honestly, the Whitman versions aren't that much lower in price, so
really,
you might as well just go for the main one. Yeah, I mean, you probably pick up a Whitman for like 50, 60
just to get the book.
No, I'm not pandering. I'm just saying you can probably get a Whitman for 50, 60 and probably get the regular for like 60 to 90. So it's not
what if
that big a deal.
What if I find you a Whitman version that's less than $50?
Well, if you do, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. It's you have your own money. I'd prefer you take that $50 and add $750 to it and buy yourself a great chair.
A new chair or a new computer?
Yeah. Yes.
Folks, this is the conversation we literally had yesterday. Do you want me to get a new chair or a new computer? Yes. Both things. Yes, I understand, Dan.
All of those things. Wow. But yeah, this isn't a great book. If you can get the facsimile version or something like that, or you can pick this up on DC Infinite, read it. It's well worth the read. It's Neal Adams and Denny O'Neil. You can't go wrong. No. And honestly, it's corny at points, but it's straightforward. The art's beautiful. Neal Adams drawing space scenes is really cool. I almost wish I'd seen more Neal Adams drawing space, right? It's something you don't get very often because he's so known for his cityscapes and everything, but we get space and it looks very cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's like as soon as we opened this book, and I said it before, it's like it's him right off the bat because of the street scenes, and then all of a sudden you get this whole other look once they get into space, and you're like, what's going on? This is amazing. I wasn't prepared for that. So
yeah,
it just blows my mind.
Well,
good stuff.
I think we should probably wrap this one up. And we will be covering Human Target, not Hitman.
Hitman!
Next. So if you want to read up, grab Tom King's Human Target. And it's, we mentioned Tom King, but the art in there by Greg Smallwood is a beautiful.
Wow.
It's a beautiful book.
Yeah.
With the writing and... So if you're turned off from Human Target thinking it's going to be like the TV show which wasn't a terrible show either, but just don't, if you're thinking it's going to be the TV show or something like that, I mean, should I say? Yeah, I mean, it had a 75 average tomato meter. That's not terrible. So
it's not bad.
Yeah, 89 from the audience. So yeah, it's not terrible, but this is a really good series, so we're going to cover it a couple issues every podcast, so we'll try to get through the 13 issues probably in 6 episodes. So this time, I've heard somebody say, hey, Dan, sometimes I don't listen to a specific episode because I've never read that book. And it's like, well, yes, the point of the fun of this is to encourage people to read comic books they haven't read before sometimes. Yeah. So read the book. Join us. So if you're one that doesn't want us talking through the book before you've read it, then grab it, read it, see it, and then we'll chat about it, and you can argue in your brain about how stupid we are when we cover it. It'll be good.
And then send us a message and tell us what you like or dislike.
And you can send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, and occasionally, and if you're still using the X/Twitter platform, then you can send it there too. We might still be using it for a minute anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm still there, but I am. So I still keep posting things there, but that could change.
Someone has to watch the watchers.
I guess, yeah. So, but yeah, send us a note. Also, we mentioned project-nerd.com. We mentioned Jiu-Jitsu Lawyer Paul. There's, of course, the Retro Emporium that you and your wonderful spouse, Ann, own on Meeker Street in Kent, Washington. Go there and relive your childhood. Yeah. Walk in. It always smells like Fruit Loops. And it's a neat place to go. Go check it out if you're in the Washington State area. And if you ever come up here to visit and you want to know where these places are, message us. We'll get you there. And maybe Greg will even talk to you.
I might.
Yeah.
I might. We've had a couple. We've had one or two people pop in that check out the show, so it's kind of cool.
That scares me. Well, anyway, and you have a podcast about a book or something on another podcast thing.
So I have so Saul Perez
Trader.
and I. It's Trader. No, actually, well, it's funny that you say trader because we do talk about traders, kind of. So Saul Perez from Nerds from the Crypt, that I do a podcast with, Nerds from the Crypt. We are doing.
Is it called Nerds from the Crypt?
That is the podcast that we do. It's a horror themed podcast where we cover all things horror. But
is it now distributed by the Funny Book Forensics Network?
It is.
Oh. Does he mention our podcast on his show?
I do believe we do. But,
well, there we go.
We haven't.
Look at that.
But we haven't.
Dang it.
But the ironic part is that we haven't done a current issue of Nerds from the Crypt lately because in this downtime, while he was finishing up his degree, he was watching a lot of reality TV with his family, and his wife and sister-in-law were like, hey, we want to cover some other shows. So they wanted to talk about some other shows, and one of them happened to be The Challenge, and we're covering The Challenge on MTV, which is a amalgamation of all the different reality TV shows. They get competitors from all the other TV shows and they put them into, believe it or not, challenges. So people from The Traders, people from Big Brother, people from Survivor, people from Road Rules, Real World, all those things. They're on this show challenging
I can't believe it. And
basically how it works out is his sister-in-law is the expert because she's watched The Challenge since its inception 20 years ago, so it's 40 episodes in. 40 seasons in. Saul picked up about halfway through and watches a bunch of the different reality shows. I watched about 4 of these shows. And
it's like the Challengers of the Unknown.
And I have never seen, the Challengers of the Unknown. And I've never seen an episode of this show until we recorded the first episode last week. So I watched 2 hours of TV and then recorded an episode with them and had a ton of questions. So it is a fun recap show on this network that we've dubbed the Spy Shack in remembrance of the Spy Shack from Survivor, but as was his old show, and we're just carrying it on with The Challenge. So get to listen to Saul, Ruth, and myself talk about The Challenge.
Well, we have found a podcast I will never be invited on. And
you'd have so many things to say about some of these people.
I would not because I wouldn't watch it. But you,
yes,
if you're into reality TV, you should absolutely watch it and go join Greg and Saul.
Yeah. And honestly, his sister-in-law Ruth is a wealth of knowledge. She knows all the competitors, all their stats, all their history, all the dish, all the dirt, all the tea, and she is ready to give it all. So I
can't handle the drama in my own life. I don't need the extra. It would just stress me out.
So much drama.
It would just stretch me out.
I mean, 40 seasons of drama.
Stress me out.
It's insanity. So, anyways, yeah, check it out. Check it out.
Okay. I will do that. Not, but you can.
But you can. If the tea is not your cup of tea, pass it on to somebody else and let them drink up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all good. Yeah, you'll be fine. And Greg also has a book.
Yes,
that you should buy.
The Absolute Zero.
That's the podcast I was actually referring to. I was teeing you up to talk about the podcast that you went on. To talk about this book, and then you talked about an entirely different podcast.
I apologize. I can't read minds. Even though we've been friends for. Damn, I'm thinking like how many decades?
I was like, I'll pitch him this pitch.
Yeah,
it'll be like the Mariners' 7th inning reliever.
Yeah, no. And
bam, out of the park.
No,
and you hit it like you're the Mariners.
I did. I just
pop up
right to the pitcher again.
Yeah, it was good.
And I was out at first.
So I pitched again. Try it again.
So, Absolute Zeros Camp Launchpad was covered by the fine folks over at. Oh my God! See, you put me on the spot, and now I'm like, why can't I?
Okay, well, that's another episode of Funny Book Forensics.
Jeez, Dan.
We'll go ahead and get on out of here. Greg will think about where he's been and who he's been podcasting to. Maybe, you know what? I have a solution for this problem.
Yeah, what's that, Dan?
You could post a link to that podcast in the Funny Book Forensics feed on Twitter and Facebook.
Oh my gosh, that's
and Instagram.
That's a fantastic idea. That is a fantastic. I could do that. I could definitely do that. I should do that, and I will do that. I think that's something I should definitely do. But people can also just check out Fanbase Press and see what the nice people at Fanbase Press have to say in the review about Absolute Zeros Camp Launchpad, and see what Steve Alloway has to say and share about Mike Tanner and Gabrielle Gomez and myself.
Okay.
There.
We can do that. We can do that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think on that note is a good time to wrap up the podcast. But next time, we will be reading Tom King and Greg Smallwood's Human Target.
Hitman.
Stop it.
You started it.
You start everything. Like, yeah.
That's why we're friends, Dan.
You're a towel.
You're a towel.
No, you're a towel.
You're a towel.
Paul will appreciate this. Jiu-Jitsu lawyer Paul. We're stealing his gimmick. So anyway, all right.
The Tall King.
So yeah, next time we read a 2023 Eisner winner for Best Limited Series, Best Penciler, and Best Writer nominee. What happened? How did we get into good books? I don't know, but we're going to read one.
It is definitely worth it. So if you're on the fence, get off the fence, go grab the book, check it out, and then join us on the next episode.
Yep. And listen to Jason's podcast, Saturday Morning Cartoons and Comics and Cereal.
Yeah.
Because
it's
good.
It's fun.
And we'll have an announcement soon.
Yeah.
All right. We're out of here. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. All right, I'm gonna find this button. As you're making here, there's no cool sound effects because I didn't have the sound effects board. Yeah. All right, the button.